Laurent Calhoun, Brooke Calder, John Blackwell, Tasha Seville, Dr. Matt Fink, and upcoming next is a man who still lives in Minneapolis. He was actually given a name by Prince, and we can talk about all that. And he's been a friend of our show, come on the show several times. He is a member of Greasy Meal and also of Prince and the New Power Generation, and we're welcoming once again Tommy Barbarella. Hey, Tommy, just tough times for you and of course Brian Gallagher, saxophonist, your dear friend, and Prince. You know, so our apologies for that.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. It's been a very strange couple of months.
Yeah, you how old were you when you got together with Prince?
I was 22 or 23, something like that.
Right.
Pretty wet behind the ears.
That's right. Yeah.
But, yeah.
And
I'd been playing around town and in the area for a few years, but obviously, be thrown into that was a whole other level. I tell people, I remember my first gig was they used to have these music festivals down in Rio de Janeiro called Rock in Rio.
Right.
In, 1991, and that was my first gig. Was 200,000 people in a soccer stadium in Rio de Janeiro.
Hey, you know what?
I don't remember anything.
I don't know if I should say this, but I got the video to that concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big spectacle, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah. Tell us about Prince choosing you to man the keys in his bands. What was that like, and did he ever tell you why he happened to choose you?
Well, I was playing at the time. I was playing with the Steels.
Oh, right.
Steel
okay.
family.
Yeah.
And Sonny and I were actually both playing with the Steels, and Prince would come down regularly to hear us. We'd play like 1 weekend a month at this club called the Fine Line, Minneapolis, and it was packed. It was the Steels were just coming off of doing Gospel at Colonus, and they were very well known, and so it's a good crowd. And Prince would come down. I think because Sonny was in the band, and they had grown up together, and I was in the band too. So he took notice of me. It was funny. There were two keyboard players. Kind of every band had two keyboard players then, and the other keyboard player was a great player named Sean Turner, and he said he looked like he worked at a bank or was selling you insurance or something, because he'd wear a suit and a tie, and he was very proper, and
right.
And I was on the other side of the stage, and I was decked out in makeup and crazy clothes and the hair, and obviously Prince liked the way I dressed and all that. So
right.
I was that's what I wanted. I wanted in that world. I wanted that, and I was telling. I realized I never told the story because I thought it sounded so cliche. Just when I saw Purple Rain, it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
A million people say that, but for me, it really did. It was just jaw dropping. I wasn't that familiar with Prince and the scene, and then I saw the movie, and I'd grown up pretty sheltered, pretty conservative Catholic schoolboy. And when I saw the movie, it was just jaw dropping for me, and it was like my world went from black and white to color.
Wow.
And I saw what was possible, and I was just like, I want that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I want that. And I started, I started dressing the part. I started, I was the inspiration. Yeah, this whole thing has just been so crazy, and the worldwide response, and just the unanimous agreement from everyone how important he was, and not just musically, but across the board in so many, across the board artistically, for comedians, for actors, very influential. I was just thinking today, I was like, he's probably single most influential artist of our time, just broadly speaking, you know.
Right, right.
You ask anyone in any field of art, it's like, who inspires you? He's always named, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's staggering, and I think for a lot of us here in Minneapolis, it's like, obviously I work closely with him, but everyone in Minneapolis here feels like he's one of ours. He's part of us, which is part of the beautiful thing about Minneapolis and the relationship, and he stayed here. But I think because he's here, it's like, well, that's Prince, you know. Everyone has their story of, my cousin went to high school with him or whatever, you know. Everyone's got those stories. So I think even for me, it's like you lose sight of how broad his scope was. Just that Eiffel Tower thing just messed me up.
Yeah, wow. Empire State Building, yeah.
Every landmark, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
That's the whole world.
And other great musicians and singers and have passed, but I mean, you've worked with Prince and recorded so much stuff with them. They passed, and people, of course, grieve, but there's just the untold story about his music. Eventually, we'll hear some of that, I'm sure, but awful sad, the way it happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had, I don't know, Matt may have mentioned we had a really nice gathering last night.
That's right,
a lot of us.
Nice photo together, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But Susan Rogers was there, and she has spoken so eloquently about him, and I had never met her before, so I was just kind of geeking out that I finally got to meet her, and she got up and spoke a few times, and she said something that just dropped me. She said how she had the opportunity to work with Michael Jackson as well, and she realized that, Michael was a product, obviously incredibly talented,
mm-hmm.
but his career, he was kind of a product of the machine. He was a product of the Motown machine, the Berry Gordy machine, and the record business. And Prince, on the other hand, was not a product of any of that. He was the antithesis of all that. But speaking to that room last night, she said he was a product of us. Like, we helped make him that. It wasn't a big machine like for Michael or for Whitney, and when you think of it that way, and that he did it all on his own terms, his own way, it's just, you forget. I think we forget because his career has been so long. It's like we take it for granted. But this reaction is just really reminded us all, I think, of the power and scope of his influence and work.
Yeah, most definitely. Our guest right now, Tommy Barbarella, key member of Prince and the MPG for a long, long time, and he was there with the struggles with Warner Brothers. But you guys did some amazing things, Miami, the club tours, and as someone working for Prince, and you guys knew he was going through this, was it difficult for the musicians going on tour, knowing your boss had a lot of issues with business and going on tour?
That stuff didn't affect us that much. I think a lot of times we were kind of confused as to, like everyone, it's like, what is he doing? Why did he change his name? When he showed up at the gig or the rehearsal with Slave on his face, we thought, oh, that's funny. That's just for today, mm-hmm. or for this show, or a television appearance we were doing or something. But then he kept wearing it 24/7 every day, and for us, that stuff didn't really affect us. We did our job. We were playing music, and I think for so many things, it's like his genius and his methods. You didn't quite understand at the time, but you went with it because you trusted him, obviously. And then later, you appreciate the genius. He was ahead of everyone, even those around even those around him.
That's right.
You know, we recorded so many songs that we had no idea what they were for, who they were for.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny and Michael and I recorded Diamonds and Pearls with him before we were even in the band. Michael was in the band, but Sonny and I weren't yet. We were rehearsing MC Flash.
Oh, right, yeah.
Before the Nude tour, and he asked us to stay after rehearsal to help him with the song he was working on. And it ended up being Diamonds and Pearls, and what we did that day ended up being the record. And, you know, we had no idea. I thought it was like a nice little Christmas song he was writing or something. No idea. And then it ended up, you know, being the title track of the record. And
yeah. Hopefully your name's on all those down the road. Somebody's got. I said, hopefully your name is on those down the road. Somebody's got a big task, getting all the right info, right? Yeah. So. Yeah,
a lot of material.
That's right. You know, I was listening to the Symbol album in the car over the weekend, and I got the feeling it sounded like you guys just press record in the studio on a lot of the tracks, right? And just
that
took
that was a record we made really fast, and it was really live. He went to Paris for a time and wrote a lot of the material. He came back and would just show us the songs on piano, and we were just we had our live rigs all set up in the studio, so it was like create the parts on the spot. Mm-hmm. And that was really a fun record, and we really felt like a band, and we were making it together because we did. That's how it worked.
That's right.
You know, it was our second record. It'd been a couple years with that lineup, and it really started to hit our stride. I think Prince was realizing what he could do with this band, and how it was different from his other bands, and it's like, oh, I could try this, and we could cover a lot of ground with that group.
We saw that tour, Radio City Music Hall, so that was always special times. So.
Yeah.
Hey, before we have to wrap up and play something from the MPG, I wanted to make mention about your buddy Brian Gallagher from Greasy Meal and the Hornheads, and wow, another tough loss for you. And you guys put together a nice concert in his memory recently, right?
We did.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Everyone showed up. Yeah, it was another one of those nights where it's like my memory is a little foggy because it was so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just realizing too. It's like Sexy MF.
Yeah, right.
It's my solo, and then Levi, and then Brian has that great sax solo on the outro.
That's right. You can always claim you scrubbed the dishes with Prince.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So tell me, who's in better shape, you or Anania, right now?
In better shape?
Yeah, you guys are always the workout guys, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I have 3 kids, so I have a lot less time to work out than he does.
Right. Yeah, because when he comes on the show, you know, he's always talking about rollerblading and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably I could kick his ass on a bike ride, but that's probably about it.
All right. The challenge is out there for David and Nia. Hey, Tommy, man. Hey, difficult times for you guys, and it was real nice to hear you and Fink talk about everybody getting together last night, I guess, right?
Yeah, that was really special.
And you know, I'm sure pulling everybody together for Prince and what he meant for all of us, and especially for you guys who work with him, and just magical music creation. So, hey, thanks, brother. Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah, well, thank you, Joe.
And we're going to play something right now. Prince was in the background, but we know he was in the foreground on this. The MPG, Get Wild. And thanks, Tommy.
Right on, thank you.
Okay.